Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I'm the Tipsy Artist. Today, we're doing an adorable little Christmas snowman with a friendly little cardinal nearby. This could be great. There's wonderful symbolism here when you honor the memory of someone you love. Whenever a cardinal flies into view, it's as if they're coming to visit you from heaven. So there's a sweet little message there. And of course, the snowman is very happy and smiling and bright. So this is a very cute classic Christmas favorite for us. So we're going to be painting this today. I'll have this nearby as we paint in the view. We're going to be switching to an aerial view here in a second. And let's go ahead and talk about our traceable. So we have a painting kit that comes with this. This is the line art that comes with your painting kit. So it makes it very fun and easy. And we've got the canvas 9 by 12. And then this is our transfer paper. Helpful hints here. You want to make sure that the dull gray side faces up and then the shiny side faces the canvas. That way you can be assured that your transfer will happen. That's very important. And then we're just going to trace right over the top here. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down on my surface area. And we're going to go ahead and switch views here. I just wanted to be sure and say hello before I got started. And then we're going to get you a nice close-up over here. But here's my little studio. And I'm just so excited to be here with y'all today. So, all right, have a beautiful day. And I'm going to start painting. So here we go. And switch. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our trace first. And in your kit, you have a pencil. So we're going to go ahead and just start. You just start tracing right over the top. I always leave the sides, nice, free and clear so you can check your work as you go. And we're just going to follow a line here. Nice little rumpled hat here. Over the column. A little bit of snow on top there. That'll be fun. Edge of the face. Here and here. The top knot. This is going to be that scarf in here. My little chevron design a little bit. A bit of a wavy quality to it here. A little different. Let's not forget these cute little eyes in here. Sweet smile, turned up nose. Coat. Mittens. I'm bearing a gift here of a nice big tree. It's very nice. And the other mitten. The base of our tree. Let's do a little check, see how we're doing on getting all of our lines done. Getting there. So we need to finish off a little top there. Now let's do a little party one. That space, I go ahead and shade in here, tiny little bead. little black space just underneath the beat of the wing. And let's go ahead and do over three. And on this side. I think I've got it all done, but let's check. Really important to get it all done before you lift this off because it's really impossible. I would say it's not completely impossible, but I would say nearly impossible for the attention span and patience of most humans to ever try to line this back up again. So you want to make sure you get every detail before you lift off. I'm missing a little line right in through here. Let's snag that. We've got our tree, we've got a cardinal, mitten, jacket. Okay. And then since we're going to go ahead and just do a little freehanding here at the bottom section of him. This big snowball bottom here. And we did miss this line. Okay. With the hat. Details there, the snow on top. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're done. Okay. So we can go ahead and lift this off now. And then this can just go in the trash. This little part here, we're done with that. And then your kit also comes with a lovely permanent marker. So this is really helpful as a next step. And I'm going to go ahead and reinforce all this line work here. It really helps beginners with their process. And it ensures that you don't easily lose all of your hard work here, because sometimes these lights are very light, can be easily covered up with the paint. We definitely want to cover up these lines, but we want to do so with a bit more intention. So at the very beginning, we do want to make sure we keep all that hard work in place. Like that. And they're also really nice too for like, especially with the snowman. I like to do a little wash of this white over the top here. So if I can keep these little facial features in check, then that's pretty awesome. That way it allows you to kind of wash that white of the snowman all over the front, and then this will all bleed through, and then you can come back in and fill in those details. So pretty cool. Just working in the details of the front here first. Bottom section, this is the side of the food. Now, part of the base, top of the scarf, bottom of the base, a little bit of top knot here. This is just a little crease in the scarf. Little design. Little jacket. Half of the mitten. Bottom part of a snowman. Bottom part of a little tree, little container that we use in. Mitten. All right, now we've got our little cardinal. And all right, that is lovely. So that's going to help us a lot. Okay. Now, I always like to get a little extra white to get with here. So we do that over here on the side. I have a little extra stash. All right, so with your kit, you'll have your paints. Okay, and you've got napkins that come with it, your brush set. Let's introduce you to our little family here. We have Mama, and then we have Little Buddy, and then we have Little Bit. Of course, mine are very loved. Yours will be brand new. A couple of plates here for you that you'll have in your kit. And then the only thing you'll really have to go and get will be your water. You'll need to go and get that. And then we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with my Mama brush, and yours will be brand new. So I encourage you to put it into the water a little bit, then dry off here. And we're going to start to paint this background first. So there's a little bit of a gray quality to it. So I'm going to take some of this Mars Black. We're going to do a little dollop of that, but a nickel size dollop of that. And then with your white, you can start with like a quarter size dollop, and we're going to be using our titanium white. Let's go ahead and mix up. So I've got Mama. We're going to take a nice big dollop of that. Very tiny touch of our black. We want a really light gray here in the background. And we can also use our water to help spread this onto the background too. So make a little bit of water to help that. Going to place this off to the side again. And then we're just going to do some vertical strokes. You can add a little bit more black if you want to. Just vertical strokes, up and down. And let's grab some water. That'll help that flow into the pores of the canvas. Then I'm going to show you the beauty of this permanent marker here. So you've got some water helping spread your paint. Like you can get right next to it and not worry too much about all that cut-in work. And that line just bleeds through. So that's pretty nifty. You just want to make sure that this is fairly translucent. Line those strokes down. If you get too much white, you can cover it. But you can always come back in with a little bit of water and firm pressure and then get that to be translucent again. I can get really close to that and see it just bleeding through. So it allows me to just kind of really work on my background and not be too concerned about all that tedious cut-in work. Now, if you're one of those type A folks where this is just driving you insane, I get it. Well, kind of, not really. I am a little bit type A, but when it comes to this paint, I like the shortcut of this. But you can always use your little bit brush, kind of load up here, do a little twirl, and then you can very precisely come in and around these little shapes too, and then just feather out those strokes with your Mama brush here. So continue on. Again, just continue on with those vertical strokes. And you can alternate between, like I'm going to, out in this, once you get a little distance away from your work, this line work, You can pick up a little bit more of that white and just hold the brush parallel to the canvas. Lightly drag that white over the surface area. That gives it some nice texture. And if you like it to be a little bit darker, you can always grab a little bit more black and mix that in with that darker charcoal gray and do little light vertical strokes with that too. Fill in right here. A little bit of water. Paint flow into the surface area. Again, just continuing on with our vertical strokes. A little bit of white, a little bit of black. See, that gets really dark really fast, by the way, so you need to be cautious with how much black you use. Right. A little bit of black goes along with it. And continuing on with that vertical stroke. Feel able to see all my line work perfectly. And a little bit of water to this, working this into the background. Big, long vertical strokes. Now working from the base, pulling up, and back and forth. Right, so I want a little bit more variety on this other side, so I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that pure white. Hold the brush parallel to the canvas and just pull down. Get a little bit of that white texture happening. Checking this base too, and pull up. Give you some of that fine texture in there. If you want light pulls. Right, so let's go ahead and rinse out. And let's go ahead and work on some of that base for the green trees. So we're going to do a little bit of our cadmium green here. A little pea size amount there. And some of that bright yellow green. We still have some of that white nearby, so we're going to use some of that too. Still using Mama. We'll grab a little bit of that white. We're going to mix those two up together. Bright yellow green, cadmium green. And we're going to go ahead and work this into the center of the tree. We're going to get that base done. Using the Mama to get the big chunk of this, and then I'm going to have to switch to my little buddies in a second. Now I'm going to turn the handle over to the side, parallel to the canvas. This will give me a nice opaque finish with that paint. Give Mama a rest. We're going to come in with little buddy. This a little bit smaller. I'm going to load up here. And then here from the base, the top row, just kind of pull down all the way to the base. And a diagonal downward stroke here to the side. Same thing here on this side, just pull down. And we're going to be careful about this little part in here. Careful here too. We come back in and do a little bit of retexture. When I'm done with my snowman base, we're going to get the basic first coat in here. And we're going to feather this out. So we still have more texture to do on the surface area here with this tree. Go into the rest of the shape. And then feather it out, kind of crisscross back and forth, hold that brush a bit more over to the side. Nice, that's a nice first coat there. Then rinse out. Rinse out here. Dry off. Let's get a little bit of our primary cyan blue. And do a dollop there. We're going to start to work on the snowman. There's a little hint of blue in his coloring. I'll take my little bit brush here and grab a little bit of that primary cyan blue, and we're going to mix it with our white. And let's grab a little bit of water, make it a bit more fluid, easier to work with. Do a little twirl. The head of the brush, this loads it up, but it twirls it into a nice fine point. So you have a lot more precision and control when you start to paint. Let's make it around the edge here. If you want a little bit more of that shadow, you can bring in a little bit more blue, maybe orange. I'm going to come in with a little more of that white and softly blend. See, now my eye is going to bleed through there. And if you're a little concerned, add a little bit more water to this to give it more of like a wash so that you know it will bleed through. Hold us up here on the side and add more pressure. When it's bleeding through there, I have not lost the shape I gathered from my tray. So we're going to just a little closer to the camera so you can see. I'm going to be able to see those to redo them. And soft overpaint over that first darker blue that we did. I switch that back and forth. Nice firm pressure. And again, I still see my little smile coming through. All right, quite lovely. And I'll grab a little bit more of that primary cyan blue and the white. And for fun, I'm going to add a little bit of Viridian this time too. So Viridian will give it a hint of some turquoise. We're going to start to work on that little jacket. And this is really pretty in here. So got that Viridian, primary cyan blue, and then we're going to add a lot more white. But you could do a pink jacket. I mean, you could really just do whatever color. And if you want to do a pink jacket, by the way, you would use your primary magenta and add some white to that. This in. Now, this color has a lot of coverage, so I'm going to make sure that I want these lines, these little creases to be preserved. So as I'm working, I'm going to come in with like a darker Viridian and a darker blue. And I'm going to go ahead and work in those creases so that I don't lose them as I go. This paint does cover very well. I'm going to go back to that lighter shade. This in. Oh, so that's so cute. Love it, love it. All right, let's rinse out a little bit. Dry off. We're going to go back to this primary cyan blue and light white and the really light, wait a minute, a lot of white. But we're going to go ahead and do the rest of our snowman here. And line out with that primary cyan blue. We're going to grab a lot more of this white. It's a super pale blue, really, but it looks very well for the color of the snowman. And you can dust in a little bit of this white here right next to it. More cute. And then I'm going to come back in with a bit more of this white over the top here. I'll lighten up the face a little bit. Light wash of light right over the top. Goes better around the circle pattern. We're going to let that set up and dry a little bit now. Now let's go ahead and work on this pretty red scarf. So I'm going to give you some options here. I'm going to do some Cadmium Red, classic, or we can try a little bit of pink here too with the primary Magenta and that white. So let's go ahead and play a little bit with that too. So let's do some white and some primary Magenta. That's it all there. And then this is the rest of our scarf from here. Using our little bit brush. Again, a little bit of a pencil hole to work in here. And then these creases, you want to come back in with that darkest primary Magenta. Go over the line up there. You can hit some of those creases that way too. Same here, the darkest primary Magenta around the edge. Here. Then we're going to come in with a lighter pink. And now, right side over the top here. Move that brush point over to the side to fill that in, and then come back in with that primary Magenta and hit the crease for the details. And then just fill this in. The line work at the base is still showing through, so that's good. That's why I put that some white for that detail. Take this out to a little point. Just gonna pull out, lift off with the right hand. Put some more white, push that into our pink here. Lift that up. And pull that. Just a little more of that primary magenta. Add a little bit of white. We can get a nice tight finish here. Look at that dry brush look. Let's roll those into the sky. A bit more white. Let's echo the direction of the scarf here. A little more of that darker primer magenta that we're in that. And also got a little bit of that red that's coming from kind of right there. A little bit of water. I'm going to push to the red for a little accent. Pushing a little bit of that cadmium red now over the top. Kind of has a nice little coral feel to it. With red white. Craft. We'll just do some pure white here. We're just going to do that little shade. Start and then down. Little triangles here with that. And then, and then, we're gonna one more time here. Thanks. We have that fun little pattern happening. All right, we've got our little mittens we can do too. So I'm gonna do some red mittens. We've got our cadmium red. We can also mix it in with the pink a little bit too. Warm it up a little bit. Still using our little bit for our another little push into that shape and push down and pull. Feather out the stroke, fill that in. Brush is held parallel to the canvas. And then in a row, we got our cadmium red here. Let's go ahead and hit those little holly berries and do those tips in there. Spin the brush around and around each side of half circles. We also have our little cardinal up here too. We could hit that. Turn this a little bit. Teeny tiny delicate touches. And you can retouch up the face with your little permanent marker that comes with it too. You'll worry about having a shaky hand. I think that's 12 in. And Squeegee out the excess because we need that paint. Oh, we've got that hat band in it. There's some of that in there. Some little shape. All right, really cute. Then rinse out. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and do this hat. I'm gonna use Little Buddy and some black. Now this part's gonna be snow, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit here. Use a little bit here so too, because it's pretty tiny. But for these larger areas, we'll go ahead and work in with everybody in a big shape as much as we can. A little bit of water too, and that black paint helps it work into that surface. And then feather out that stroke, just kind of crisscross back and forth. And a little bit of black here. Follows some on the edge. And a little bit here too. Yeah, you could paint the whole thing black and then dot it out with the snow as well. Just do the carpets black, black. Let's rinse out. Let's go with our little bit brush, do a little twirl here into the paint so we have a nice fine point. We need to get into this little area here. I'm going to get a little bit of water. A little bit more water. Twirl. Along on the edge here. A little bit of black up into here on this Hollywood. A little bit of nice little holly berries. And we're going to dot out those holly berries again too. So I know we came in tight with the black, but I'll touch that back up again. Now a little bit of water, a little swirl, get out the edge of the brush. And then I'm going to go ahead and smile here and then smile. Very tip, very gentle, and just kind of really get rid of that. You can also do this part with your permanent marker to feel more comfortable if you have a shaky hand. Just make sure that this paint behind it is dry. And we've got a little bit of this brown in here that we can work in. So let's mix some brown. We've got a little dollop of the orange. And that mixed with black makes brown. Pick up that black with the orange and then mix some brown. It's in. And if you want to do a different color here too, like keep it real bright, you certainly can. It's, it is black. Water, that flow. And feather out. Feather it out. Rinse out, dry off. Let's get some of that white here, just pure white. I'm going to go ahead and work this into this little section here. And you can do a little tiny amount of that light gray over there too. Swirl on that. And then pure white over the top. Put that in. Pure white. A little bit more pure white and put it in here over the top. Lay it on kind of thick. Resting on the top of its hat here. Radius through into here. And let a little bit of that snow just kind of rest in those little areas there. And we'll do a little bit up top here too. And we have our green for our hardies. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more of that. So I'm going to use the little bit brush. And I'll do a little twirl into the green. And just blow those hardies in. Hold it like a pencil and just go straight down, very gentle here. And then you just lay right in the middle. Just kind of turn your brush more over to the side now, so you don't scrape and dip off the paint. This will give you a nice, light, gentle hand as you lay a little layer of paint into the middle. Now, a little bit of orange we need to work in the beak, and then also the carrot nose. So I do a little touch of orange here. Our little bit brush again. We're just gonna twirl into that orange. And get a little tiny little bit here. We're gonna do, and then that little carrot nose. And we can add a little shadow there with the cadmium red, going up the side. Rinse out, dry off. Let's go back in with a little touch of black. And we're gonna see it's really tiny there. Make sure it's really tiny on the end. And then I'm gonna retouch the little cardinal here. The little section that comes up and above the beak and just below the beak. I'm gonna give this a little turn. And teeny amount of water. We're gonna do a little swirl again into the black with a nice thin point. And I'm just gonna come around that little wing, super tiny little delicate lines that flow through the little tail. It's a tiny little outline here. And this is also one of those steps that could be done with your little permanent marker too. If you have a shaky hand, that's a little bit easier to do for you. Like that. And let's get a little bit more of that cadmium red. Do that dot there. Now, a little trick you can do here is you can take your brush, the handle side, dip in to that red, and just press straight down to do a little ball of that, just like that. That's fun. Nice and easy, little fun technique there. And then we can do the same thing here for the little black buttons. So I'm going into that Mars black, and then I'm just press straight forward. Little buttons. Oh, you've got some light pink little cheeks that we can do too. So I'm going to take a lot more white, mix that with that pink. Really light. And got a little bit here. Well, that's my circle and this little rosy cheek. Okay, those are real sweet. Now, let's do a little bit of some white here over the top of the tree. A little bit brush. I'm going to do this. A little bit of texture in here. Little upward diagonal strokes. Just kind of a fun little pattern. I'll alternate to either side. right, let's put some more green out. We're going to use a little bit of this bright yellow green again. And our cadmium green. And we're going to use a little bit of that Viridian in there. We're going to mix all those together. And I'm going to add just a little bit of this texture. A tiny diagonals and kind of softly blend with that white. And alternate either side. This side. Starting to get a lot of bone texture happening here. Keep alternating back and forth, just little diagonal strokes, like little tiny dashes of texture on either side. And so now we're going to grab a little bit more of that bright yellow green. And we're going to hit that again, little tiny edges. A little bit brush, just little tiny diagonal dashes. And we've got some nice layers of paint that's still wet, so we get a nice soft blend with these layers too. Flip on the other side. Okay, really cute. And let's rinse out. Now let's come back in a little bit again with some titanium white. A little bit brush. I'm just going to lightly bring in a little bit of that white one more time. A little bit of snowfall around the ends. Little ornaments we need to do. So we're going to do that little trick on the end of the brush here. We're going to start with this Cadmium Red. We're just going to dip right in here. And I'm just going to come straight down. It's going to make these little dots every time. Very kind of easy. Cute. Now we're going to do some Cadmium Yellow. And same trick, just dip right in. Pretty bright pop of color there. It's lovely. We've got a little bit of pattern we can do on the mittens. I think that's kind of fun, is to do it with a little dot technique. So I'm going to use my little bit brush. And I'm just going to do little polka dots all the way across. So that's very fun, and I can do a few more of those little polka dots here. Very cute. And then we can do a little bit of reflective light. I'm going to add these to the holly leaves. So we're just going to dot a little bit of white on each one. Dot a bit brush. Little right here. A little bit more white, but I'll just push some here and some here. There's that cadmium yellow. I'm just going to do a little line here. Smooth it out in the middle. A little bit of water. All right, and we can also have a little bit of this snow spray that happens over the top. So this is optional, but if you like the look of this, it is a little messy to do. So it's that little spray like what you see right here. So a little bit of white paint. And I use my little Betty brush to tap. Go ahead and load up Mama with lots of white and just dunk right into the water several times. Get it nice and full. And then we'll just do a little tap here into the sky. So just It always takes more water, so I'm gonna do another like puddle of water here. Get it real soupy. All right, now we're getting that fine mist. Oh, my jacket just went through my painting here a little bit, so oops, that's the problem with fringe in the cold weather. Wow. Oops, that's an oopsie. That is not a desired look that I really wanted, actually. Let me go ahead and add a little bit of water and just kind of fade that out, actually. I was like, that's weird, snow. Oh gosh, I could just lift it right up there. All right. All right, so still working with this like soupy white and a lot of the water. That nose spray all the way across. Being a little more careful with my fringe now. So, and another way to do this too, this is even messier, but you can also kind of do little flicks here with your finger. And that gets that little fine mist. It's snowing now. Lots of snow. So it's a little bit out of control, that's for sure. You never know. A little bit of surprise. That's why I say this is for the adventurous. You may not like the snowstorm, and then some of you are having a blast, but that just depends on your personality. And then there are little things you can do, like if you did, interfere with some details that you didn't necessarily want covered up by the snowstorm, like you could, for example, we've got some nice fine mist here, but if it obscures some details that you really liked, like for example, a little bit of this black here on the Cardinal, you could come back in and firm up that face a little bit. Like that's an example, so that way your details are still sharp where you need them to be. All right, we've got a little line here too, a little curve, little parentheses shape. All right, and then our last step is to sign our masterpiece, which will be down here in the bottom corner. You want to make sure that, again, your canvas is completely dry, and then you can just use your permanent marker that we've provided for you. So that's very helpful there. Mine has a little bit of mist, so I'm going to wait just a little bit before I do that. But there it is. There's our cute little snowman. He is adorable. All right, well, it's been a true pleasure painting with y'all today. And again, all the supplies that you need are on our website at tipsyartist.com. And we just want to thank you again so very much for painting with us. And we hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. And we'll see you soon. Much love to y'all. Toodles.